think of a great movie, Back to the Future, my favorite movie. Back in the 80s, when it was released, they made some predictions that actually came true and are real today. So get ready to see several predictions Back to the Future got right. Let's go! Welcome to Cine Lovers! In this video, we're focusing on Back to the Future Part 2, released in 1989, where McFly and Doc Brown travel to October 21st in 2015. Even though 2015 was 10 years ago for us, in the movie, it was a distant future. Let's start with drones. Man, this was amazing. The movie shows drones walking dogs. Not every dog gets walked by a drone today, but they do exist. And another thing Back to the Future Part 2 got right about drones was showing one taking photos and recording videos. Do you realize how spot on this was? Nobody even talked about drones back then. They didn't exist. The only things flying at that time were birds, planes, helicopters, and flying cockroaches. When 1985 Jennifer ends up in 2015, Doc Brown leaves her in a corner, and then the police arrive and take her home. Here, we have two predictions that were spot on. The first is using Jennifer's fingerprint to open the door. Today, fingerprint-activated doors exist and are becoming more common. Not to mention we use fingerprints to unlock and access tons of things, like phones, gym turnstiles, bank payments, and more. I'm starting to think they actually traveled to the future because they got some unbelievable things right. And right after the fingerprint scene, Jennifer turns the lights on with her voice.
You should reprogram. It's dangerous to enter without lights on.
Lights on?
Yes. Now look.
She gives a voice command, saying it almost like a question, lights on? And the smart house recognizes her voice and turns on the lights, even though she's 30 years younger. Her voice was still recognized. That's smart home tech. Alexa does this today. In Back to the Future Part 2, they predicted Alexa and smart homes. That's insane! Speaking of voice commands, Lorraine, McFly's mom, puts a mini pizza in the hydrator and says, hydrate level 4 please.
Hydrate level 4, please.
She gave a voice command, and the technology obeyed. Voice commands exist not only in Alexa, but also in iPhone, Siri, Google Search, Google Maps, and many other things. I just haven't seen the pizza growing thing yet. That would be awesome, but we do have a lot of instant foods. McFly's Nike shoes in 2015 are insanely cool, right? You put your foot in, and they adjust and lace up by themselves. I'd love to have a pair of those, especially when you're in a rush. The other day, I was in a hurry and thought, I'll put my shoes on in the car to save time, but then I remembered I was the one driving. Well, you don't see these shoes everywhere, but they exist. Nike made them in 2015 as a tribute to the movie, selling and raffling off some pairs. All the money raised went to the Michael J. Fox Foundation for Parkinson's research.
We built a version of the Nike Mag to help the Michael J. Fox Foundation find a cure for Parkinson's disease.
Leave a comment with your favorite invention from the movie. Remember the scene where McFly walks into the 80s cafe, approaches two kids, and plays a game? First off, this kid right here is actually Elijah Wood, the actor from The Lord of the Rings. Did Back to the Future predict that too? Anyway, in this scene, McFly thinks he's killing it when he picks up a gun and shoots in the game. But the kids make fun of him. Why? Because they don't use controllers to play video games anymore. They can, but they mostly play using their own body movements. In other words, Back to the Future predicted Kinect, which was exactly that. Gaming without a controller. Kinect eventually fell out of use, but it was around for a long time. When older McFly, the 2015 version, is in his office, he talks to a guy named Needles. And what's happening in this scene? A video call, a video conference. But it doesn't stop there. This might sound crazy, but video conferencing was actually invented back in the 60s by AT&T. The device was called the picture phone. You could see and hear a moving person through a small screen. Of course, the image wasn't HD. It was black and white, but it worked and existed. An incredible technology. But in Back to the Future, they showed the video call in color and with better resolution, sharper image, and all that. And here's an extra fun fact. As I mentioned, the company that originally created video conferencing was called AT&T. And guess what name pops up as soon as Needles ends the call? A cool tribute. And there's more. The movie also predicted flat-screen TVs. When the film was made, TVs were those bulky tube models with huge boxes in the back. Man, I had one at home that needed a few slaps on the side to start working again. After this video, click on this card and check out a video about Back to the Future's deleted scenes, where Biff was supposed to die in one of them. Now, when Terry appears, he asks McFly for a donation to save the clock tower. Notice that he's holding a device that looks like a tablet. This tablet is used to process payments. He scans a fingerprint and the payment goes through. The same thing happens when Biff goes to steal the DeLorean. He pays the taxi driver using that same tablet-like device. This was another prediction they got right, just like I mentioned with Jennifer's fingerprint example. Fingerprint and contactless payments are becoming more and more common today. And let's talk about virtual reality glasses, VR headsets. McFly Jr. loves them, and so does his sister. In the movie, they can even receive and answer calls. Nowadays, VR headsets are super common, and some of them can actually take calls, like the new Meta glasses in partnership with Ray-Ban. Genius! There's one scene I'm curious about, and I want your opinion. When McFly arrives in 2015, you can see a bunch of CDs and records behind him, all neatly wrapped. Do you think they were placed there as a prediction that CDs would become obsolete and end up in the trash? Or were they just waiting to be delivered to a store? Let me know in the comments. Another extra fun fact, the hoverboard isn't widely available yet, but some companies have been working on it for a while. So far, it only hovers about 2 centimeters off the ground and only works on specific surfaces, hoping that one day, it'll be just like the one in the movie. If you love Back to the Future and deleted scenes, click on these videos now to check out some incredible deleted scenes from Back to the Future and some creepy deleted scenes from Cars. Thanks so much for watching, and see you in the next video here on Cine Lovers.